Yes, good morning, everyone. Very nice to be here. I'm going to talk about meaning banking. That's what I'm engaged in the last 5-6 years, and impact of the long tail on meaning banking, I hope. And as you've already read on the web page of the symposium, the long tail is a natural phenomenon, as you can see here. Right? And if you work with natural language, you'll have to deal with the long tail. And that's what this talk is about. First, I want to say a bit about the 80-20 rule. I squeezed it in the last moment because I thought everyone would mention it. But the 80-20 rule is a beautiful thing. And I first heard about when I started studying computer science. And the professor then told me, 20% of your time you develop a system, you get 80% done. And the rest of the time, the rest of the 80%, you deal with 20% of the details and stuff. And that was the long tail. It was a beautiful rule. At first I didn't believe in it, but when I created my first software program, actually it worked that way. And it taught me something about the real world, the 80-20 rule. It's the same with NLP people, unfortunately. And I think what part of the problem of the long tail is that NLP people and computational linguists, they're happy with 80% result. They spend 20% of time with 80% F-score, next problem, right? And that's the real problem, I think, the underlying problem in natural language processing. So, I want to tell you an anecdote, very nice one. So when I wrote my master thesis a long time ago, well, not that long time ago, I worked on VP ellipsis, verb phrase ellipsis. A beautiful problem, a linguistic problem. And this is the problem. So you got a sentence, John loves his mother, and then the text continues, Bill does too, right? And that's called the VP ellipsis because there's something missing. There's a verb phrase behind it. And the two interpretations, yes, there they are. That could mean Bill does, John loves John's mother, or Bill loves his own mother, right? Brilliant, beautiful example, beautiful problem, right? So what we did is we actually, made computer programs that could calculate these interpretations automatically. The first one's called the strict reading, and the second one's called sloppy reading. And a lot of people were working on it. I loved it. It was my first true love in computational linguistics. I read all the papers that were published on VP ellipsis, right? You got these things here, and they were very creative, the linguists. So they came up with examples, and you thought, wow, John revised his paper before the teacher did, and Bill did too. 5 interpretations, really, 5 different interpretations. Yeah, brilliant. Mary revised her paper, Jane did not, although the teacher did. It's called the cascaded VPE. I don't remember who it came up with that. Yeah. Joe first played tennis and then he went out for dinner. Mark did too. First played tennis and then went out for dinner. Yeah. That was called the split antecedent verb phrase ellipsis. And scope ambiguities interacted with verb phrase ellipsis. An American flag was hanging in front of each window, and the Canadian flag was too. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. I solved them all. I made a computer program to solve them all. Right. Now, very nice. Then I did something else. And then later, about 5 years ago, I collaborated with Jennifer Spinoza and said, Jennifer, look, we've got the Wall Street Journal, the corpus annotated for syntactic stuff, part of speech tags and so on. Let's try to find all the verb phrase ellipses that occur in there. But yeah, great idea. Go on, let's do that. And we did it. Spent a lot of time doing that. It was a lot of fun. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. We're going over to see this cascaded ellipsis, the split antecedents, and the sloppy and strict interpretations. That will be amazing. Yeah. So we did that. 1 million word corpus. 1 million words. None of them. 1 million words. Right. We got 487 VP ellipses. It's not bad. Yeah. Only 9 of them had a potential sloppy strict interpretation. Potential. Yeah, because they were all sloppy. Yeah. So I thought, okay, my computer, but yeah, that's basically useless, right? I mean, but it won't, affect the F-score on anything, right? And then I looked at the other phenomena. No embedded VPE, no cascaded VPE, no split antecedent VPE, nada, niente, no scope ambiguity within the VPE, yeah? And it was in a way sad, but in a way it also taught me something, like, the long tail is very long. No. Okay, so that was sort of an anecdote. Yeah? So when I saw that corpus, I thought, that's good, right? The corpus I want to work on real world problems. I don't want to invent my own data. So I want to do work with the corpus linguistics. So I started to do meaning banking, and so I did first. I made a corpus for English, and that means a large set of text annotated in form of semantic representations. I did that in my previous project, and now I'm starting to work on a parallel meaning bank. I'll tell you a bit about later. Oh, by the way, when I read the news in the train this morning, I thought, okay, I should change the meaning bank because Scotland will probably leave the UK and well anyway. So the parallel meaning bank, I'll say a little bit about that. That's new. We haven't done that yet. Oh, you started working on that, and the idea is really nice, I think. You know, if you think meaning, if you look at translations, you look at 4 languages, English, German, Italian, and Dutch, and if you think, well, if these are really good translations, and translations are meaning preserving, then they should have more or less the same meaning representation, whatever the meaning representation is. So that's the idea of the parallel meaning bank. So I want a parallel corpus with meaning representation. Of course, the translations are not always good and not always meaning preserving. That's part of the challenge. So that's the idea of the parallel meaning bank. And we got now a corpus together with a lot of data. We use stuff that is not available in these 4 languages or a subset of those. So we've got the Bible, the corpus, the Tuba, the usable scripts like Udopar. I stole some data from the web and some other stuff as well. So nice. And we got a lot of words now. We've got about 10,000 documents for all the 4 languages. And it's very hard to get parallel text for all the 4 languages all the time. But for English, we've got 5 million words. But in total, we've got about 11 million words. Yeah? And so what's the idea? So what I want to do is provide a gold standard for 10% of the corpus. I think 10% is not much. No, it's quite a lot. It's almost a million words. Right? And the idea is then to use for crowdsourcing for the common phenomena for that, and expert annotators, people like you and me, to do interesting stuff. And then we produce a silver standard for the rest. So we basically automatically generate meaning representations that the models learn from the gold standards, and we hand correct some phenomena. That's the idea. And we did it for the meaning. And we use Boxer, that's my semantic parser, to actually get the meaning representation as a starting point. And it does a lot of stuff, and that's the whole idea. I want to integrate stuff. So it does named entities, it does events, it does thematic roles, it does discourse relations, and so on. Pronoun resolution. And it's all in one meaning representation. And that's the aim of the parallel meaning. Now, so actually I want first to look at the parallel meaning bank because it's new and we can't really look at that. I thought, okay, let's look at the Groningen meaning bank, which is only English. And what we do is lay, for the purpose of this workshop, symposium, let's look at the long tail. Let's really look at it. Everyone says, yeah, there's a long tail, but how bad is it really? Is it that bad? So the Groningen meaning bank is a free corpus. You can download. You don't need to sign. No questions asked. You can just get it from the website. It's all public domain text, basically generated by Boxer and then corrected by humans. This game that we became with a purpose that we invented, and also a lot of people from not linguists in the crowd. And this is how it looks like. Every time, semantic parsing is really hot. And if people show a picture like this, oh, you're not supposed to read it. Well, yeah, you can't read it, but you're supposed to read it. This is the stuff that Boxer produces. Right? So this is a text. It's a short text, but you get already a very large meaning representation. And that's the aim. And what we do in the Groningen meaning bank, we had a lot of corpora that were in the public domain. So you've got an American propaganda newspaper, Voice of America. You've got fables, the CIA fact book, some jokes, and existing corpora. And you've got about 1.4 million word tokens. That's not bad. And then look, okay, let's look at the tail. How bad is it? Now, and tail is defined here as a word token that only occurs once in the whole book. So first I thought, okay, let's take 2,000 words tokens. And then we look, okay, there's 840 different types. Because that we're talking about, and then The tail has 574, and the head is 263. Yeah, okay, that's bad. Yeah, but let's increase the size. Now increase it with an order of magnitude, so about 30,000. Put it at random. Said, oh no, the tail is getting larger. Look at that. So increasing the corpus doesn't help. Yeah? The tail only grows. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Another 140,000. Tail even larger. 1 million, almost the entire corpus. Tail's even larger. If you look at relatively, then this is good news in a way, because the tail relatively is getting shorter. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. So, okay, these are words. So word focus and word types, right? Well, if you look at characters, maybe I can just, get the long tail into creative characters. Yeah, and again, the tail of tokens that occur on words. So here, we see, okay, if I have a small set of the corpus, certainly got the tail of 12. Okay, 12 is fine, right? Listen to write a couple of rules. And you make it larger, it sort of goes a little lower. But then suddenly, from 26, why is that? I don't know. Probably all these funny kind of accented characters that suddenly are there. So, not so good news. I thought it was a very optimistic kind of slide, but it's not. so we're caught by the long tail. And that's also what it was about. Now, in my abstract, I wrote that I have a possible solution. It's true that I wrote that, but okay, maybe I've got an idea, right? Because it's something new that I forgot. Okay, if you look at what are the atoms? What are the atoms of meaning? What are the smallest units? And if you break them down, you don't have any meaning anymore, because meaning has to come from somewhere, right? The sentence, I don't know if everyone agrees with that, I hope, has meaning, right? It comes from somewhere, so it comes from the words, maybe. Yeah, a lot of people think it comes from the words. And normally, mainstream NLP, the words are the basic units. Yeah, I also do that. I think it's wrong. Right? It's wrong, because they are, of course you've got morphological and analyze and so on, but, if you look at dependency parsing, they look at words. Right? Morphemes are the basic units of meaning. Yeah? So we should look at those. Here's an example. Yeah? Unhappiness. It's normal word, unhappiness. It's not in the Groningen meaning bank. It's shocking. Unhappy is not in the Groningen meaning bank. 1.5 million words. It's not there. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that's true. So, and it's also not on Wikipedia, for example. It's not just the bare corpus. They're words, but they're very there. But if you split them into morphemes, then look at that. That's not bad. Is 4,000 times. Happy. Maybe it's not a very happy corpus. Only 24 times, and ness 9 or 8 times. You see, there's something interesting going on there. So we can do something there, and people are actually looking at that right now. I found this paper. I don't think it's published yet, but I think it's a really interesting work. The word embeddings are very successful, I think, and very interesting as well. But the word embeddings had suffered from the same problem, the long tail. They can't deal with out of vocabulary words. There's a paper by Cow and Ray. I think it's really nice. They present a model that learns morphology and word embeddings at the same time. So they capture more meaning. And they can't really show with their results yet, maybe because they use English, and English is not really sort of a morphological language. But they show the character level model, so not words. The character level model is very, very good quality for unseen words. And I think that's maybe an interesting way of going. Yeah? Good, conclusions.
Like 6 minutes left.
Is it? I can use it for discussion or to,
Well, on top of the discussion.
On top of it, okay. Well, I've got 4 conclusions, though. So, rare phenomenon, there are lots of them, right? So they're very common, the rare phenomena, like a paradox, it's true. And especially semantic phenomena, it's not only words and stuff. If you look at semantic phenomena like VP ellipsis, right? There's a long tail of that as well. So don't just look at characters or morphemes or words, there's also phenomena that are rare. So, and the other thing is that if you look at real-world corpus and fantasy corpus, because I now believe that all these linguists in the 90s made up all these examples. I thought them they were in the newspaper or so, but it's probably not true. Right? They probably made them all up. Right? And and so there's a big discrepancy there. Right? But in a way, we could maybe also learn from that. Well, meaning banking suffers from, obviously from the long tail problem, and I don't have any concrete solution. But going to the morpheme level is probably a good idea, and that's it for now.
So we definitely have some time for questions.
So Johan, if you were to make a list, given your experience with the corpus, and you were to rank the phenomena, semantic phenomena that we have to deal with, sort of in order of frequency or importance, like times, obviously something, and numerical expression, how many can you think of just right off the bat?
Okay, I can tell you what is not important. Scope ambiguities, they don't exist.
Right.
Well, except for some, but they're very rare.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, it's not so brilliant. I wrote my thesis on it. So,
but it kills a whole bunch of PhD theses and gives a bunch of new ones.
Now, what is important is anaphora in general. Every sentence has a pronoun or a definite description. That's important.
I want to write this down. So no scope, yes, anaphora.
So ellipsis is the only one out of 77 sentences. Right? It's a nice, interesting phenomenon. But if you want to, increase your F-score, then, it doesn't make any sense. But again, that's the natural language engineer that's talking, not a linguist. So it all depends on your aim as well.
What do you do with things that are not linguistic phenomena of that sort of traditional type? With things that say numerical expressions, number ranges, expectations for something. A car costs a lot and shoes cost little. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, okay. The thing that no one has solved, I think, is a really easy problem. That is substantive adjectives. Right. You can't really represent them because you need more than first etymology, and that means we can't reason with them. And that's the most simple example I can think of. Everyone's talking about most. We can't do most in first etymology, but even substantive adjectives are very difficult. Yeah. Things like most, again, is very rare in corpus in the real world.
So can you give examples of substantive adjectives?
Tall men. What does tall mean? Tall for a man. Yeah, okay, but try to do it in first etymology. Another thing that is very common in newspaper text are comparatives. Lots of them. Newspaper text, lots of comparatives. Because they always compare, this is going up, that's going down. So that's also very important.
And qualification?
No, rare.
No. Rare?
Yeah, very rare. Yeah. It exists, but
I think also there's some more questions. So.
As I come to the range of the figure of the numbers and this is important of the anaphora, do you do reference pattern too? Real world reference pattern?
Wikification?
Just saying, well, this is a person, maybe that's a term English one, I don't know. This person is Obama, and he's referred to as this way, but it's still the same person all the time. You have such
co-reference, you mean?
Well, not just co-reference, it's not like a real world reference pattern. So this is about this person, and he was mentioned in the other text.
Okay.
4,000 words too.
Yeah, there's a lot of different terminology for this. Some people call it symbol grounding, other people call it wikification. No, I don't do it at the moment, but I like it. If I find someone who wants to do it, that's okay. It's compatible with it. Yeah.
So the corpus that you build now is kind of so you do semantics, but the data that you collect, you look at it from a kind of a linguistic phenomenon point of view. The diversity of let's say semantic compositional structures defined in the text. But if we are talking about grounding, it's not that you try to find the semantics around some real world event or situation.
I'm not doing that. No.
But would you like to do that, or would that be the direction that we have to go to, so that you stick as much as semantics and interpretation knowledge as you can on the data set?
Yeah, and if you want to do real inference,
yes.
I've done it sometimes as well.
Yeah.
You want to have a connection with the knowledge base.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you need that.
Yeah.
Because now most of the symbols are not interpreted.
Right, yeah.
They look like English words, but they are not English words. Right? Symbols. working at the moment as a sort of knowledge base, but of course you want to link it up, and you want to be flexible as well. Yes. So Wikification I like very much.
Yeah.
But, it's very sort of orthogonal to what we're doing.
Right.
Sort of added in later.
But if we would collaborate in more on this, let's say, capturing a long tail or creating a long tail data set where we want to have a very large collection of very detailed, small, but extremely richly annotated data.
Yeah, it depends what kind of annotation you're talking about.
Semantic, as much as you can, as you do also.
Yeah.
Sticking all the semantic layers on top of
a lot of people call things semantic, right? What I mean semantic is formal semantic, something that's interpretable, that has a model theory, right? And that's the structures that I use are first order structures. Yeah. And I know I use that because I know I can do I can use theorem proofs to find contradictions or to do experiments. And that's my starting point. Right? A lot of people they don't think about that. They start just building up stuff that looks like, well, obviously, the meaning representations captures some aspects of meaning, but I also want to do actual inferences with that.
So for instance, we do a similar thing, but that's also my question about quantification. We don't do quantification, and we can't do quantification, and we can't reason over it, because we don't represent it properly.
No, we do that. Yeah, we do that.
You could
we don't need it. Because
you don't need it because it's not there. That's
it doesn't. If you look at purely at performance, it won't increase the edge score.
Right.
On whatever. Right.
Okay.
That's a bit. Even on the RTE, I don't think it makes a big difference.
That is maybe because evaluation is not targeted to those aspects.
Exactly. This is real world data. This is good, right? It's nice. Even the data that's specifically designed for testing formal semantics, FRACA, for example, FRACA data set, if you can't do most, if you replace most with an indefinite, you get actually a very good result already. Right?
Short question.
What about time? We have a lot of trouble with time expressions, just anchoring events in time, given that we know a time earlier on.
Yes, so time is, I think it's important. So there is a lot of, we don't do anaphoric elements of time yet. We do the grammatical tense, we do that, more or less following the Camp and Ryder book, the discrete representation theory, but not more than that. And I think and again, of course, it's very important, right? Because that happens in every sentence, and how it is linked to the previous sentence is very important. So, but we are not there yet. No.
I'm afraid we have to wrap up, but I think there's already lots of inspiration for the breakout sessions after lunch. So let's thank our speaker.